Okay, I guess we're live on YouTube now. Good afternoon to all the YouTube viewers. We normally get about 100 plus traders on YouTube watching. I think about 108 in an average for the last 3 weeks. So, welcome. Gold and silver. Okay, everybody can see your messages. Look at gold and silver in the weekly. We'll do that. We can do that. We can start with that actually. So let's start. Good afternoon. Welcome to the weekly outlook. We're just about 30 seconds early, so we'll just go ahead and start. And I want to start with silver. Somebody's asking that I should start with gold and silver in the weekly. So I'll just go to the weekly for silver. And this is where we are. And I think one of the questions we had in one of my daily webinar from one of my students was like, why is this an area where silver would be interested? And it's pretty easy, right? You don't have to, it doesn't call for a lot of technical knowledge to do this. You just have to look at where we are in terms of price. Because we've been here before. You've been there before, and then you had a down move. You kind of had something that stayed there for a while, went up, came down, and then took off. So what you would see is something like this. A range in which accumulation happens before it takes off. Well, we're pretty much right in that range of accumulation. Only I don't think they will ever get back to this level, right? They may just, if anything, we might barely touch 13, maybe probably lowest I think it could ever go is 12. This one actually, the first one actually was like this. It went up like there, came back here, and I think it went somewhere to about $4 or $5. Right, this was like the low where the accumulation was taking place. So I think the low for the accumulation now, because of cost of production, inflation, and everything else taken into consideration, would probably be around 14 to 10. So that's the zone of accumulation. That's where you start to see it going sideways before it takes the next up. Now, I don't think silver will be going up now because the time for accumulation is too small. But I do think we'll be going up, probably down again. Maybe very slow down with some more consolidations in here, very low before we get there. That process might take a whole 5-10 years before you start getting upside, before the next up impulse comes. So we could be trading in a range of 20 to 12, for example, 20 to 12 for a very long time, which means every time you get to the bottom of the range, you're very, very keen and looking for buys so that it goes back up, right? Now, you can go and one of my traders already showed a stock we can buy. It's a silver company that mines for silver. Their stock is pretty low. And they've actually showed in the stock that this impulse was there, which means you're expecting one more impulse. Now, questions is, I get this question pretty often. Can they break the low before they go? Of course. It doesn't matter. If they break the low, they wouldn't stay there very long, right? Every time they come to that low, they don't stay there very long. So this is going down. It could break the low, because we're still in the correction, right? And if they break the low, it will just be more of an expanding or running flat in the making, right? This was still the B wave of that correction. We could break the low and then go back up, but it's not going to stay there very long, which means if you're buying and selling in this zone, so let's say you made a first entry buy, like I said, you could have put that to break even, got out for break even, which means you should have closed the trade once you see it's going to go down. If you go into a lower time frame and you look at this one, you could have actually bought here at 14. Put that to break even, and you can get out the break even, or you can keep that one, because I don't think this is going to go up right now, right? There's a chance this might just consolidate here some more, and we might get one more drop, which means we'll be getting something like this, pretty much like this, except for a smaller one. So this was a sell setup if you wanted to sell, right? You don't want to sell silver in this low place, and it's pretty much risky to sell silver now. Not that it's going to go down. I think this is going to go down. You're not interested in the sell. The sell might give you a small trade, but you're interested in the bigger move to come so that you don't miss the bigger move. If you're focused on the sell, you can lose sight of getting into the buys. So you can put a buy order under the low. So if you had a buy order under that low, you got out of that one for break even. You're probably still in it. You can get out for break even when they make a next move up. I think there will be a next move up, which means if this tears it and it goes very slow back to the top there, you'll get something like this. But if the break even, if they drop, you get in a trade there and you get in the trade here. I think this is the lowest I expect them to do, tag that low and then come back up. So they probably tag the low at, I don't know, 13.5. But you will not be taken in the 13.5 if they make a sudden drop and then comes back up. right? You might not get taken at those points. So you want to get taken within this range. You must be in the trade, right? And you must be prepared that it could drop and come back up. Because on the upside, it will go very fast. You might not get into the trade. So you got to be careful of that. This is more of a kind of a medium-term trade, not very long-term, not very short-term, medium-term, probably in a month or so, you can see the results of this trade. So it will take a while to turn. They do that, but then when they turn, they go very fast. So whereas silver has a price limit to where we think it can go, gold, production gold, cost of gold could go lower than this, which means could hit 500, could hit lower than 1,000. Right? They do not meet the level whereby production costs, they have to go back from there. So you'll have to trade this technically, which means you watch for these trades set up. And right now there's a sell set up in it. You can almost see that in the 1 hour and the 4 hour. We broke out, but we're not going. So they're kind of giving you a short sell here. They had a short sell there. And, you know, if this is not going to go very far, which is what it's doing, they're just dropping, making consolidation, drop, making consolidation. Eventually this will go up. You just have to follow what pattern it's making. Just like we followed this pattern and we realize that is not going to fall. I don't think this one is going to fall suddenly, but if you get in the trade for a short move and it goes suddenly, you're good. Right? I'll be careful of the sells. I'll be very careful because all I think they're doing is making a bigger consolidation in here. I would not be surprised if we get, you know, kind of a bigger sideways move before they leave. So instead of going down, it goes a little down, but more sideways in the bigger picture. If you go in the higher time frame, you'll see that, right? Gold is pretty much within this range. Now, there is a chance they can break that low, but I think rarely they're going to go break that low. Most likely, we're going to see them take off from here. This is the move you're looking for when you have confirmation that the upside has started, which is exactly the move we're looking for on silver. And after that, we'll be going back down. Now, the question is always, how high would this go? And that's the unknown factor. Knowing how high it's going to go is unknown now. What we're always looking for is for them to come back and break the top. Right? It's like, look at this piece. Right? When they made 1, 2, 3, when they made that consolidation, we know they're going to go down. We don't know how low they're going to go. You don't have to know how low it's going to go. You don't have to know how high this is going to go. And you have to just buy until you see the trend is ending. You're breaking out of the trend. It's not going anymore. And then you say, okay, good, time to get out. Now, gold, you'll have to buy technically. You just can't buy gold like you're buying silver because of where it could drop to, right? So gold, you will have to actually wait for it to, you know, to get that buy pattern before you get into the trade. This could be a consolidation. If you look at this, this is a pretty sharp move up. So this could be some kind of a consolidation happening here, and then they take off. If we get this pattern this week, definitely you're looking for a buy. Right? If we get this, look at this pattern here. If you take that pattern and you turn it upside down, this is what you get. So if they start to do something like this in this piece here this week, going down, but going down very slow, making that corrective structure, then you'll be looking for this to go up. And it could take a week to do that, because if you take this and you turn it upside down, you'll see this took a while. So we'll be looking for one more up. The sell patterns, if you're going to get into the sell, it's going to be very short term, because I'm in the daily chart, you'll probably get 60-minute sell setup. It's going to be very short. There is a sell setup building right now, but they're very short trades, right? So you watch for that, and then you said, okay, good. This is where we are going to go. So it's not that silver is not going to turn. Is a question is, I would like it to drop more. Basically, I would like it to drop to 13 because we have entry orders to buy at 13, right? Now, would it go there? That's a question, right? The lower it goes, the better it is for us, because the better the risk to reward on the upside, we know where they're going to the upside. At least we know where we would expect them to go break the top before they come back down. And that might be a pretty good trading session. You might get about 3 months of up trading in silver, right? So keep your eyes on it. Keep your focus on it. Don't lose it, because if you're losing money for the whole year, this is where you get a chance to make back your money. This was a safe. I call silver the safest trade, because you can't go wrong with this. Buying silver is becoming the safest trade you can do. So if you're new, you don't understand patterns that well, you're not making money, you start by buying very, very small. Don't over risk. By the time it gets to 17, you're already in profit, and then you can add to those trades as they go, right? So keep an eye on those two. Let's go now, start with the rest of it. Dollar index. Like I told you last week, we're in consolidation. Don't expect anything big. Don't expect anything much either way, right? Because we came down and we were expecting this to go up and we were expecting it to come back and we were expecting it to go up. They're going to be in consolidation here for a while. So either way, if you get a trade set up for a buy or a sell, you take the trade, you take profit, right? Either way, it doesn't matter which way you get it. If you don't have anything, don't trade it, because in this consolidation, they can take a while. We're in a big consolidation right now. We've got one impulse down and they need to consolidate in here. So this could actually come back here. You know, we don't know what patterns they're going to make, but you're going to get something like this. You're going to get something like this here eventually. And then you're going to get the downside. So I don't think this one is the one going down. This can't be all to the upside. This can't be all to the downside, right? If you get a flag here, buy. If you get a flag here, buy. If they start to go down, if they drop and make a flag, sell. If they drop, make a flag, sell. Within this range, you're going to get up and down until the pattern is completed. We only have 2 pieces of the pattern, and that's not enough. So you will be in a sideways move again this week, which means you'll be looking for short-term buys, short-term sells, take profit, right? Euro. And you can actually see some of those trades, right? Euro, I think, is likely going to go back up, right? We've seen this pattern where we expected that to break and then turn, right? I was expecting like 1, 1, 2, 3. But we have seen Euro made that pattern already, where they don't break in the turn, making the contracting flat. So if this is the contracting flat, we would be in this way, but there is a good chance you could go back up there and then come down, completing this like that, right? So what we will be looking for here is, if you get a flag, you get a flag like these, if you get a flag like that, if you get a flag like that, you take one more trade down, take profit, until they completed that one. If they make the third one to the upside, well, then yes, you can look for buy setups, break the top, or you look for downside. That would complete a regular flat. So it's just going to be a little more complex behave. Can they drop from here and go very far? I don't think so. This is a very small correction. It's possible. They do get those small corrections sometimes. So all you have to do is, if you get a flag, sell. If it drops very fast, good for you. If it doesn't drop very fast, you need to get out of the trade at least for break even. That would be your worst case scenario, getting out for break even. Most likely you could make profit out of it, right? So it's going to be same thing. You're not going to have any big move this week. You're likely going to be bouncing around in this one. Now, in the bigger picture, we showed you this pattern, right? In the bigger picture, we show you this pattern. This one and the bigger daily pattern, right? Remember that. So there is a possibility that if that pattern proves to be what we think it is, a running flat, this could be the downside. But not necessarily is going to go now. Like I said, we want them to come back here, confirm that flat, and then drop. If they confirm a flat, see these flats here, if they confirm one of this one is a very big one, but we look for a small one like this. If they confirm a small flat like that in here, because we already have the big one. Think of this as the big flat to the downside. If that is your big flat to the downside, if this is your big flat to the downside, and this is the big flat to the downside, then when they go up, you want a flat here or a flat here. So we want a flat, smaller degree flat here to prove the downside. And once you get that, you could trade it up, trade it up, trade it up, trade it, because they're going to move away from this. So we had one there and we're getting a second one here. Are we going down? Wait for a flag, sell, right? Wait for a smaller correction, sell, go back to the 4 hour. We're in this small correction right now. If this wave is not completed, which means if this wave is going to continue to go up, you would have to come back here, make a flag, get that trade, take it, and then take profit. Take it and take profit until it turns. Because in the middle here, we still need to have a confirmation with direction it's going to go, right? We still don't have that confirmation. I more likely think we're going to get downside. So let's wait and see. Go back to the 1 hour, look for the flags, take the trades. Bam, same thing. Last week we said this is not all, upside is not all, downside will not be all. We're still going sideways, right? They're literally doing that, right? So you've got to move up. They came down, you could have sold. I don't think you would have got that buy unless you saw reasons to get into that, but you could have got this one. This one was supposed to come a little more before they go. They just make a contracting flag. You can get a sell here. If they make a flag, go for the sell. So what you're looking for is a small flag like that, small flag that we're going for the sell to retest the low. So you got one, you have two, you're looking for the third one, right? Take profit. Wait to see whether they go back up, because I think likely they're going to be in this consolidation. We're correcting this entire move, right? So we made a 1, 2, 3. We came down, and you know they're consolidating there because, like when they made that sharp move, they came down, right? See that? Made a sharp move. We need to come and break the low. We haven't broke that low. So if this comes and break the low, well, then yes, you can expect them to continue doing that, because then we'll be looking for that pattern continuation of it, which I don't think they're doing right now. So the next move down might not break the low, and that means you're going to be going back up. You'll have more of a flat in there, and then the upside. So you can look for some downside here, but then next week, if it could stay in this level for the whole week and then break out the next week, but those are the patterns you're going to be looking for. Wait for a flag here, look for a sell setup. Wait for a flag, look for a sell setup, right? Retest this low, look for buys. Aussie made exactly the pattern we were expecting it to make, except it didn't break this top. It didn't break this top. We were expecting like you got a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, go there, and then it starts to come down. There was still a chance that they would make one more up, break the top before they go. Well, we broke down. So we're in this impulse to the downside. Let's see where that impulse should take us. Let's go to the daily. On the daily and the Aussie, we still have this to do at some point, right? If we're turning, we will have to make a running flat at some point. Or if we're going back up, we'll have to go and break the tops. So an up move on Aussie is very, very likely very soon. So this is just a continuation of this wave. Down, right? It's just a continuation of that wave down. So if you get another flag, sell. If you get another flag, sell. If you get another flag, sell. You will have to wait for the turn, which we don't have. Right? We don't have the turning point as yet. So what we had last week was this consolidation, a drop. You get another flag here, consolidation, you go for it. You'll get hourly consolidation a lot. Right? So they'll have to make an hourly flag, you sell, an hourly flag, you sell, until you see the turning point coming. It is coming. And it is coming because you're getting a lot of divergence, which means momentum to the downside is dying out. That doesn't mean you stop selling, right? You just look for short-term trades. If they make a flag, you will get one more impulse. If they don't make a flag, they're going to reverse it. When they reverse, you do exactly what we do when we see the reverse. They reverse, you buy. They reverse, you buy. They reverse, you buy. This one becomes a loss or a break even, right? So the same thing you do, they reverse, you buy, they reverse, we buy, they reverse, we buy. They reverse, you buy, that becomes a loss, right? Same thing, they reverse, they make a flag, you buy, they make a flag, you buy, they make a flag, you buy. One of these is gonna take off to the upside. So every time you get the reverse, you buy, you don't have any reverse here. Right now, you're waiting for a sideways to go down, right? New Zealand, pretty much the same thing. If you look at New Zealand in the higher time frame, we have this. This is the whole structure. And if you go to weekly, let me show you the weekly so you can understand how these structures develop, right? So look at the weekly. Look at the top here. See that move there, and you see this long drawn out consolidation. This move, if you were in that move coming down so sharp, you would believe you're actually already trending to the downside, because this one is much shorter than that one, or about the same size. And then they went back and they give you a sharp move again like that. And you're like, okay, we're going down now. And then they go back and they break the top, right? Because you're making a consolidation that is a very distinctive pattern. We have got one sharp move up here. We've got a kind of a pullback here, and we've got another sharp move now. This by itself could be all the correction, and we should be going down. But this is how impulse starts to move. This is how impulse starts to move, right? When they make that flat at the bottom there, this is how they go away from the area. If we were making here, after we made this, we were going down, we would be going down pretty fast. You would not get all these pullback and this and so. So what that is telling me is that the correction is not over. Even though we get this drop coming, the correction is not over. So I should not be surprised if I get one more like this or even break the top before you go down. It's either you get one more to make a running flat here and then go down, or you actually go break the top and then go down, making this whole piece a bigger flat. So it's not over. They're not making that impulse. Not because it's going down, it means you're in a downtrend, right? That's a whole different story. So let's go to the daily and look at it now. And in the daily, we're literally going sideways. We just broke the low here. No big deal that you broke the low. Let's wait. This piece is where you're focusing. And see the divergence you're getting there? Put it on the 4-hour. And you're coming down. So what we were looking for, we were expecting this when it started to come break this low. Well, they broke the low. So can they go some more? Of course. When they broke this low, they went some more, right? When they broke that low, they went some more, right? So this can go some more. You can get some small trades to the downside this week. But very soon, the only thing that will negate this pattern going back up is if they break through that structure and make consolidation. So you keep this structure, and if they break through it and make consolidation, which is you're selling, right? You're selling to the bottom of the structure. So let's just change that. You're selling to the bottom of the structure. So if they bounced off there, you'll be buying. If they bounced off, you'll be buying. But if the pattern is what I'm looking at, if you see that change in there, and if at any point they break through the structure, which means this structure is not what they're making, they break through that structure, you wait for the consolidation and you go for long-term sales, which means it will be going down quite a lot. It's not about the line. They don't have to bounce exactly on the line. So don't think when they reach the line, you're going to buy because they're going to bounce. The line is insignificant. The line is only showing you a pattern, right? It's not showing you anything else but a possible pattern that we're looking at, right? We're not going to go into the details of what pattern it is and what are the rules for that pattern, because everybody will have their own conversation here, and we look at patterns differently. So we're not going to get that's for trading sessions. But simply for trading sessions, I'm telling you how I look at it and what I would see, right? So there's a chance you can go a little more here. And then you start to see whether they're going to turn to the upside. You know, you see the turning, you start buying. You see the turning, you start buying. You can tell buys, you can see buys, you can see buys. You buy every time. Every time you get that turn, you buy, because this is the one that likely is going to go out. If that's not the one, well, you come out of the trade. You will get out of the trade. You can't tell me you're moving with a trade that is going from, let's say you got in from there to there, that is going 100 pips and you can't get it to break even, right? You can get it to break even. You're going to take small trades, so you'll probably even get profit out of it, right? So right now you'll be looking for some more downside. You probably will be getting some flag here. Take a sell. Every time you get a flag, you sell. Watch for the turn. It's coming. Cat. Just like the cat. The cat is a very good example that I show you guys, right? What we were expecting of the cat. Remember this one, although this was coming down, right? Remember we said this has a chance from here to go test the top and then come back. It came down one more. That is okay. Within this structure, you can get a 5-wave. You will start buying from here, and as it go, you will move your stop or you will take off the trade, because if they break out of this structure, we want the consolidation to confirm one more up. Now, the second option is still open because we only have one wave up. If this thing stays here for the entire week, coming down like this, going back up like that, then we will be looking for the downside. It should not come back to the low. If they come back to the low, we're looking for downside. If they just stay within that range, you're going to break that up. So are they going to stay in that range? I think likely we will see them stay in the range and break the top, and then we're going to look for the turn. So right now, you've got a flag making, you've got a correction making here. You might get some more there. Look for downside and then look for upside. Look for a big correction in here before you go, right? Every buy setup you get a flag for a buy, you'll take it. For the sales, you can decide whether you want them, because if it's going to come down for a correction, it's going to come way to the bottom. Once it comes to the bottom like that, we're looking for a bigger 3-wave correction and then downside on the daily. I'm more likely to think they're going to tag that top before they turn, right? We're expecting one downside when they tag the top. So let's see if that happens. You're looking for this upside now, right? Wait for buy setups. You don't have any buy setups right now. Yen, pretty much the same thing we said, right? So we still have to have confirmation of the sense of direction where they're going to go, right? Both sides on the daily are open. Like most of these patterns right now, they're all making a consolidation where it's not confirming the direction as yet. But these directions are very sure to be confirmed very soon. So we're either going to take off or we're going to take off. We're in the middle of making a pattern here to go both ways. And based on what we have in that pattern, it is not confirming one side or the other as yet. So what we have in it, we have one move down and one move up. That's nothing. That's not confirmation of anything as yet. But if this goes and break out here, you look for buys here. And if they go and break out, you look for buys here. And when they break here, put that buy to break even, because you want this to go break this top. And once they break that up, that would confirm we're probably going up to, on the bigger move now. If they fall, if they come and they break this low, which means this, instead of going back up, just make a correction here and drop, correction and drop. That means we're coming to break this low. So we have 1, we're in the middle of making 2, we're going to make 3, and then we'll tell us whether they're going up. If you look at the lower time frame in here, there's a good chance we're looking for upside, right? There's a good chance you're looking for this 1, 2, 3, and you're expecting this to go up. So some of my traders are in the trade from this one here. There's a buy setup there, and I hope they keep it. So if you keep that at break even, you may want to look at whether this happens and then upside. I kind of make another flag there, and then you look for the upside. And this up should come and break out of the structure. Once it breaks out of the structure, you can move your stop and then stay with it. See how far they go. You want them to come and break this top. If they don't break that top, you want to get out of the trade. If you see a turning point coming without breaking that top, you want to get out of the trade because it will become a B wave. It will become something like a 1, 2, 3. And if they're not going aggressively but start to turn like this, that means we'll be going down. So you want to see this move go straight out of that immediately. Once you get it by and it goes, then that would be a trade you can keep for a longer term. That would be the confirmation that we're going up. Swiss. On the daily, I told you this one is going to go back up. Well, I've showed in my room, I've showed them a number of reasons why this is going to go back. We actually found a few patterns exactly like this. We're not going to go into details of them, but we found them. My traders were showing some of them, and I showed them where. So this could come a little more down here, but this is going to go up. There's a 99.9% chance that it's going to go. 0.1%, I'm wrong about it. Right? I'm always going to be wrong. You can give me more 5, 6 if you want, but I'll give on this pattern, I'll give 0.1. Now I could be wrong. Nothing's wrong with that, right? But this is what we're looking for. So the question is this the turn, right? The first question we had was that the turn. That didn't turn out to be the turn. So if this thing comes, make a flag here, buy. You had a flag here, you bought. Make a flag here, buy, right? If it just turns out that the flag comes to this top here in a 1, 2, 3 and turn to the downside, you'll get out of that trade, but you'll be looking for a sell from here downwards. That means we're going to make one more down, right? One down, you make this, you make one more down, you make that, you make one more down, eventually it's going up, right? So every time you see that pattern changing to the downside, you get out of the trade and you wait for the next one. You can even sell it if you want, right? But there's a very good chance that this thing is going to turn very soon, right? Because this pattern definitely goes back up. Silver we already did, so you know what we're looking for. Gold we already looked at. You know what to do with that. Euro Oz. Euro Oz is breaking out, and it's breaking the daily top. We already get that. But you will not, it's dangerous to start buying here now because you're buying at the top. So you want it to pull back if you're going to continue to go. You want to see a pullback if they're going to make a bigger move to the upside. Any buys you make here now has to be very, very short term, which means you're buying in the 60 minutes and you're taking out profit immediately. Because at some point, they're either going to make a correction to continue or they're going to come back to the low here. We're expecting some kind of a pattern like that before they continue. Right. So come to the top there. This one, I don't think you should be risking a lot on it. I don't think it's a trade you want to even get involved with. They made a running flat. You got a running flat there, and then you make one more up. It's looking like you might start to see downside. If you see downside, you can trade it, right? You can trade the downside. The downside is going to be two things. It's going to be a very sharp move or it's going to go slow. If it goes slow, you're going one more up. If the sharp move, you're going down for the C wave before you go back up. It's a C wave before you go back up because it's making a running flat, right? So I think you can start looking for sell setups. If you get buy setup, it's not going very far, which means if you get a buy setup, if they come back here and make a correction like this, something like this, and decide to go, you can take this trade, take whatever pips you get, 20, 30 pips, and take profit because it's not going to go very far, right? You're actually looking for it to turn to the downside. Euro New Zealand. This one is kind of in a big sideways move right now. I think you can also get one more up here. They're just making some big consolidation at the top there, and it could continue to go. Short term, they should come down. Within that pattern, we made one, we made two. You can expect short term downside, and then the continuation. So probably expect this week, maybe very slow, but to the downside, right? Very slow. I think they should come back, test this low, because it's more like a 1, 2. You're looking for the third one before you go back up, right? So look for short-term downside, and then we'll see what happens there. Euro yen. Same thing. You're in a sideways move here. I think you can see this pretty easy. Let me just put it in 4 hour. You're in a sideways move, and there's a good chance you will be getting one more up before you turn, right? You see this made a 1, 2, 3. You see you made a 1, 2, 3 here. We made a 1. We're looking for 2. We're looking for 3, and then the downside. So this tool should get some more up here before they come down. Could go down from there. That would be more of a contracting flat. So if they're going to go down from there, what you look for is a flag and sell. I think this looks more like a 1, 2, 3 for upside. I think it's more 1, 2, 3, and you should start to get this straight up. Look for that. If they make an impulse and a correction, go for the buy. Test the top and then come down. If instead of doing that, you get a flag here, right? Let's make an assumption that's a contracting flat. I don't like to make assumptions for contracting flat, but let's make an assumption that those 3 waves there are just a contracting flat, which means they're not going to tag the top, right? For all of you who know, I think all of you here knows pattern already. So if we look at that as a contracting flat, then you wait for a flag here, confirm a correction like that, and sell. Put that to break even and see whether we break through the low. Right? I very much think they will just repeat these patterns. So I think you will get one more up. Look for that possibility too. EuroCAD. Well, this one is about to complete what we thought, right? So this is a good example. Remember when I showed you this, I said, guys, we need it to complete. Now, if you look at this, this looks like it's almost completed. When it was here, we looked at that and we said, no, we don't like it because it's too short, right? Some more up. Well, it got this some more up. So that looks perfect. If you get a flag here, you want that trade down. It's this move you're getting down, right? I think all of you have seen these patterns. By the way, anybody new first time in here? Anybody first time in the webinar? Put a yes if you're first time here, because you have not seen these patterns. Okay, Jasmine, you don't worry. You're in the group now. You just took the course too, so you'll get the details of how those patterns work and everything, right? So the second person's first time, you will get the details. You don't have to worry. You'll get all the rules and everything there. So okay, Shari, I hope I got your name right because you are not in the group. I know. So you can look for this. These are the patterns we're looking for. Now I want everybody to be careful here because for those of you who are not in the group, you might misunderstand this. This is the basic pattern, a 1, 2, 3 and down. This is what you call the complex one. And it's still a 1, 2, 3 and down. So every time we look for a pattern, I will give you the basic setup. I'll say, guys, look for 1, 2, 3 and down, right? It doesn't mean it is going to be 1, 2, 3 and down. It could get more complex like that, but you are going to get this move to go down. Even if it goes here and then go back up, it will first come down a little, then go back up. So let's say we were doing this 1, 2, 3, and I said this is going to go down, right? See what happened? They came down to the bottom, but then they went up, back, and then come down because we just got a complex B wave. Can this turn out to be a complex B wave? It possibly could, but I will not tell you why it's unlikely going to be, right? It's unlikely that we think it's going to be a complex B wave, and there are reasons for that. This one was not unlikely. This one is unlikely. So if you get this trade going now, you will expect it to come back to this distance. And if they come here, what you're looking for is a likelihood we could break through that if you look at the monthly structure. We're not going to go into the details, but if you look at the monthly structure, there's a good chance that thing could break out. Very, very good chance of that happening. So if that running flat there is completed, which all of you witnessed though, right? When this was coming in, we were saying we saw this, we would like to get one more of that. We got it now, right? That's what we were saying. Watch for it, wait for that three-wave structure then now. Now we've got everything you want. You only want a flag here now. And then you can sell. See? It's not magic. It's just that you just have to know these patterns. And there was only one way you can do this. You have to keep practicing it with a group of people who know what they're doing. Euro Swiss, it consolidated. We didn't go up, so they're breaking out. This could be a long-term trade. They have to, at some point, they will have to make a deeper correction. You'll have to be careful of getting in now, right? Some point here, you can take all the sales you get in 4 hours and 1 hour, but move your stops and take out profit because at some point they will make a deeper correction. Not necessarily here. They might drop, and then you might get a deeper correction before you go. Some point they will make this deep correction, but it could go quite a lot more before you get that, right? See this? Absolutely nothing new, right? So this could come all the way to retest that low. Very likely. Keep your eyes on that pattern, right? We're going to watch to see whether it's making any turn anywhere. So far, I don't see any turning points coming in it. So watch for this. We're getting some divergence, but that might just be for corrections, not turning points as yet. Euro pound. See that? If you were following me and you were following this euro pound for the last year, probably, we were telling you what we were expecting it to do, right? When that confusion started there, which means for most people, confusion for us is just a bigger consolidation. We looked at it and said, something is not right about that. That's just a big consolidation. We need to retest the top, and then we can start to look for the downside. Now, the question is the downside starting, right? Is that the start of the downside? Well, we don't know that as yet. Let it start going very aggressive, and then we can prove that that is the downside. But for you, yes, you will consider that the start. So if you took that sell, or if you're taking a sell here, it's a good idea. Because if you get into that sell and this drops, and it could drop, that would be a very, very good trade. Now, if you don't make a flag there and you don't drop, this thing would go back up to the top, retest the top once more, and then start to come down again. They will retest that top and come down. They'll retest the top and come down. So you can only get a buy above here, and then you'll get a short trade. So your first trade here on this one was here. For a short trade to the top, take profit. Your first trade in this one was here. To the top, take profit. Your first trade in this one was here. To the top, take profit. So every time this, if you get a trade here and it breaks the top, take profit. Because after that, they're going to turn. This thing is about to turn. We just need this one to confirm it. So if you get a flag here, you're actually going to be following. The reason you don't know where it's going to turn, we don't know where this is going to end. And I think this is where a lot of traders get confused and get it wrong. How do you know it's ending the structure to the upside? Well, there are times when it's pretty clear. It's absolutely clear. That's the turning point. And there are times when just a bigger correction for one more up and then turn. You don't have to find the exact turning point. That's not the purpose of you to trade. You see, you don't have to pick the top. You have to pick the confirmation point, right? You need that confirmation that now we are going down, and then you get the rest of the trade to the downside. You don't have to find the exact turning point. That's, if you're going to look for that, you're going to end up losing your account. Your thing is that let it turn, give me the confirmation, and now I'm in the trade because there's 1,000 pips to the downside and more. So you don't have to get in at the exact top, right? If you get in, sometimes lucky you get in there and that's the goal, right? That's more of a lucky streak. You don't get that every time. And, that was your lucky chance. It doesn't come to you every time. You have to wait for that setup. And once you get that setup and it confirms the setup, good, you're good to go. So wait for a flag here and sell. You're about to get one on the 1 hour, take the trade, right? Because you're breaking out. You get the flag. If you took that one, you're okay. Some of my traders took that. If you didn't, then you wait for this to break and see if it's good. This is a good trade, right? This is what we expected to do. Tongas actually is making a running flat. We thought this one would have come down. Remember when they made that 1, 2, 3? We're expecting them to come here and then go back up. Well, they actually go back without coming down. So that means you still have to get this. Now, can that possibly happen? Yeah, we saw that. You look at this piece here, you would have seen that breaking out. So at some point, what you're getting now is a running flat in the making. At some point, it has to come back. And I think the turn could be just one more here, go right, there's the top and then the downside, right? We would have to complete this one. It doesn't have to be from here. This could be a consolidation and one more up, a consolidation, one more up. Then come make that hook, kind of like downside, upside, and drop, which is making a correction, making this impulse to complete that correction. Let me erase all of that. So this could, go here, go back up, go here, go back up, go here, go back up. And then you will get this drop. So you will complete this pattern. And then you get one more up and it starts to fall. Right? So this is going to come down because of the bigger structure we're looking at. We're looking at the daily structure, right? Now, the question is this going up to retest one more of the top? And I don't think so. I'm looking at this more as a running flat. We're not expecting this to go retest that top. If the last time we expect them that they can go test that top, and when they come here, we said this might go test the top. This one doesn't, we're not expecting it to take this top because I think they will have to come here first and then we can test the top. So this could be more of a 1, 2, 3 wave before we go back to test the top, right? We can get a 3-wave structure. Do I think this will be an expanding flat coming to test the top? Right? Even if you're making a 3-wave structure, could this be a 1, 2, 3, then come back here, right? See this one here? Look at this, 1, 2, 3. See how far this went? It went above that top. So let me just take a copy of that and bring it here so you can see. Do I think they will repeat the same pattern? I think no, right? So if you take this one, this was the move down. And let me take the whole pattern. I'll bring it across. Right, that was the move down. The first one there was the move down, this piece. Good. You got the move down. You get 1, 2, 3. They broke the top, and then they came down before they go, right? So you got 1, 2, 3, came down, and then went to test the top. So the question, can they go here, test this top, and then come back? Possible. But I'm not expecting that to happen. I'm not expecting a repeat of that exact pattern, right? I think they will probably stop here, come there, and then go back. That would be more of the pattern we're looking for. So just put this aside. Watch this piece here. I don't think they're going to go all the way up. So we were going to get just a smaller expanding flat in here, 1, 2, 3. And this might start to come down very soon, but it's not coming down now because they need to complete this structure. 1, 2, 3. Go back up and then come down. So if you're going to get a sell setup here, it's not going to be a long-term sell setup. You want to be careful. Unlikely it's going to be a long-term sell setup. It might be a short-term trade. I don't think we have any contracting flats in here to look at. We don't have anything here that's a contracting flat. So we've got an A, a B, and it's very well structured like a B. So we'll start to look for sells for the C wave and then one more up. If they make a flag, that means the B wave is still continuing. You're going to get a prolonged running flat. Well, in that case, if we get a very prolonged running flat, we will test the stop, right? Yes, if you get a buy, take the trade, take profit. Well done, Chris. You see, you guys are the people who are following and learning and catching on to the method, right? They're starting to understand this. And by the way, he's not in my group. There's a lot of Chris in my group, but he is not, right? You can catch on to it. You start understanding the patterns. You're like, well, okay, if I get a buy, what should I do here? Take your profit immediately, right? It goes 30 pips, take it off. That's all, because at any point you'll come back down. If you don't, they'll come back very fast, take out, eat up your profit, maybe even give you a loss, and then go back up again, and you start wondering, okay, oh, I should have kept that one. Look, it went back up. And no, the next one you try to keep will be the one going down very much deep for the C wave. And if you try to keep that one, you're going to get yourself in serious trouble, right? So be careful, understand patterns. That's the most key to it, right? Pound New Zealand. Same here. Go back into this. Look at the bigger picture. This one, we knew that was a contracting flat, but then this one was going very slow. So it didn't confirm. This thing is going really slow. I thought they would make a bigger B wave. We're about to break that up. And if they break that up, then we'll probably look at this as a slow impulse going up. There is a good chance also we were expecting this to come back here, right? Come back here, maybe then go. Just make a more complex B wave as an A B to this level, and then go up there, right? So you get an A, you get a B, and you get a C here. So let's see if we get that. Somewhere there's making complex one. I don't think it's the end of the structure. I don't think this was pretty nice setup if this one had gone to the top. When they make these big corrections here and then go, you start to worry that, well, it's either they're ending the structure totally for downside, which eventually all these punk patterns will go down, right? I hope all of you remember that from the weekly structure, right? They're all going to still go down because this is an impulse. What you're doing is correcting that impulse, and there's still a lot to go. If the impulse is this high, this thing could, go there, come back here, go back up, make another one, go there, make another one, go there. They could do that for a long time before you get the next impulse down. So right now, this one is pretty sharp. So I wouldn't be surprised if this comes back down here, make a bigger correction, and then take off for the next impulse. Something like this. See that structure in there? You got an impulse, see that correction, how it looks, and then you get that one. So we could be looking at something like that, a correction here that might look like this, right? Might end up looking like that, and then you get the next one up, right? This correction was looking like that, up, they were doing it like this, and then they went up, right? So you got this, you get the same thing, a repeat of it here, and then you go back up and then come down, right? So there is a possibility for that. We're in that correction, and I'm not sure this is ready to go. But if you get a buy setup, take it. So let's see, do we have a buy setup? No, you don't. I'm actually expecting them to come back one more down. I'm expecting this to come back one more down. See that one there? 1, 2, 3. Come back here, make this, and then go back up, right? Because we have got this one. We made that move up. We go there, we make a move. We go there, we make a move. All of this could be a B wave. Come back here and then go, right? So all of them are showing some downside right now. The pound dollar is showing some downside right now. So if you get a sell setup, you can take it for one sharp move down and then get out of the trade. Pound CAD. This might be a good one that you want to take for a longer sell, right? This might be one, if you get the sell setup there, take it to come and break this low. Come back here, take it to break the low. So if you get that sell setup, that might be a very good one. One more down, and then we will see whether they're going to go up, right? Remember, we still have the possibility of this being, they could still come here and then go, right? So right now it's looking like there's a setup for downside. Pretty much we're looking at this one, we're looking at this one like this. This looks like it's going to turn to the downside. Here's what is your confirmation. You want it to break out here, make a flag, and then go for that trade, right? You see these flags, you go for that trade. You see that flag, you go for this trade, right? Then you go for this trade. If they go back up and break this top, one trade, take profit. Take one single trade and take profit. Don't keep it. Wait for another confirmation. Take that trade. Wait for a bigger consolidation here. So your buy comes above this top. Your sell comes if you get a flag here. Which come first, right? And then you'll see what the trade is. Pound Swiss. Pound Swiss, we made that. By the way, I think I may have shown you this, or I've shown it to my group. And I said, when you get a sharp move like that, you're looking for another sharp move. We're literally looking for that another sharp move, which happened. It happened very sudden. And now you got that sell, and you got to move it back. So you're pretty much in one. You're getting this. I think we're going to consolidate here and drop one more. They will likely break that low because this is a correction. They have to break the low before you go back up, right? So put it in the bigger picture. You're going to see that structure. See, we're starting to kind of make a correction drop, make a bigger correction drop. You're going to expect this to drop here, because this is a bigger correction than this one. You're probably making another correction here, drop, another correction, drop, and then you're going to go for a bigger correction. Okay? Then they'll go for that bigger one. So you will probably start to see this drop, drop, drop here, and you're going to see divergence. Drop, 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 and then you're going to see the bigger correction before you go down. This will go down too. Right? This one will go down. This one we knew it was going to go down a long time back. Right? And it's pretty much breaking out of the structure. And likely go down. You might end up with a big correction like this. See that? In this move, you got one correction there, and these are smaller ones, smaller ones, smaller ones, smaller ones, and then you're going to get that big one here, and then you're going to go down. That will confirm. This will confirm the next big impulse to the downside. Break this low and then start the upside. Right? They need to break that low in the weekly before you start. So let's go to the monthly chart and show you that. Right? They need to break that low, and that's something we showed you a year back. If you want to go check that thing, it's out there. You got to move down, you got to move down, you're getting another one. From this point, we told you they're going to go break that low. So you've got a 1, 2, 3. Do they make corrections in between? They do. You see that one has correction. Look how many correction this one had before it dropped. Right? So you're making correction that should drop here now. And then you start to look for that up move. So we're about to go into something big in the pound. It's about to finish that structure. So go back to the 4-hour. That doesn't mean you're not going to get corrections in this move. I showed you the monthly chart, right? The monthly chart is downside, totally downside. But within the monthly chart, you're going to get a lot of pullbacks, right? You could get a whole 3 months sideways before you go down. That will still be a down move on the monthly chart, but that sideways is big for you in the daily or in the 240 or in the 60. So I'm expecting this to go one more down here. start to make another correction, drop, make another correction, drop, then you probably get a bigger correction before you drop. Right? So look for the setups, trade. This one will be tough to trade. When they're about to start making that bigger correction, the sells are there, but they're tough. Every time they drop, they pull back. So if you get the trade, it drop, you have to take profit because they'll pull back immediately. Pang Yen. Pang Yen, it would be good if it go a little more up. We're looking for the similar pattern I showed you in the CAD and a number of them. With this one, you got a 1, 2, 3 here. You're looking for that there, and then come down. So this one, I think both ways possible, but we would like to see this move before they go down. That would complete this pattern. It will make the pattern looks very nice. So I'm not expecting this to go down. I'm expecting at least one more up. So right now we have one. We have 1, 2, 3. This can come up a little here and then drop here and then go. We'd like to see that complete pattern. Go back to the top there and then turn. That's going to give you 1, 2, 3. So in this piece, you're probably going to stay here for a while. Maybe stay out of it for a while and then wait for see if you get the buy set up to the top. If they start to go down from here, that sell could be pretty dangerous, right? They start to go down from here and you take the sell, move to break even quick because you don't want that to take you in a trade and start going back up to that top very fast. Finish the move there and then turn to the downside. Aussie yen. Drop, some more drop. Aussie does have a lot of drop to go. I think I showed you this from since at the top here, since we started that piece there from the 4 hour. Since we were in this piece here. Watch, this thing has a long-term trade to the downside and it's going there. A lot of pullback. You probably can wait for another pullback like this and then look for sell setups again, right? There'll be another pullback, maybe like that one. And then sell. Don't try to buy this as yet. It has a lot more, so look for the sell setups. New Zealand yen, some more downside. We're in this pattern. I think I showed you this also. Right? We've got an impulse. We're in the correction. And we know they'll go back up there. So when this correction is going to finish, well, in this one here, you can still go more. You can still go more, right? Eventually look for the upside. You can actually see that dying out here, right? They're kind of like, if you look at all of that thing there, it's going lower and lower. You know, it's not going as aggressive as these going, right? So put it in a 4 hour. You're getting divergence between this and this. You're getting divergence there. So that tells me that some point here, watch this when it breaks the low. They broke the low, go a little more turn. I think this one was exactly at the low they turned. So I expect this to probably come a little more here, and then we can start to get an upside. Now the question is, the turn going to be from here, or does this a correction and then drop again? Correction, drop again, right? So any point close to this low, you're starting to expect that correction to come in. So what you're going to look for in the 1 hour? You already got a break of the flag. You have a flag here. They broke it. You might go some more. I think they'll go lower. So you might get another drop, get another flag. Look for a bigger one like that. Kind of a more bigger flag, drop, bigger flag, drop. But every time you get this, take profit, take profit. One of them is going to go back up pretty sharp. So you could get a really sharp move here and then start to get flagged before you go. If that happens, we're going up for the next impulse. CAD. Also expecting this one, we were expecting it to tag the top and turn, right? They didn't tag the top. Like tag this top here and then turn. So there's still a chance for this to go up here and then come back, right? We didn't tag the top as yet. So we might be in a 1, 2, 3 here. We could still go back there and then come. This would just be some kind of a P wave flat in the middle, right? So let's wait and see. I don't see this right now going, very strong any direction. It's more going to stay within the sideways move. So you're getting some sideways here. We can expect this to turn. They could drop a little. They drop, take a sell. They drop, take a sell. But very likely it's looking like you've got a flat there and you're about to get one more up, right? So wait for that. Wait for that one more up, test the top, and then turn, right? I don't think we're going down totally. We don't have, unless they break the top, I don't like to look for contracting flats. So if you get a flag here, sell, take profit, right? If you get a flag here for a sell, sell and take profit. You're getting one right now, right? See that? So if they drop lower, take profit. If they start to break this structure here, They start to break out of there, look for buy setups to the top. Christian, look for the downside. I think we can look for one more down here. You've got one, you've got two. Look for this one came down, look for a flag, sell to this level. Look for this, right? This is all the trade you might get this week. How low that goes is still a question. Remember the Swiss dollar. This could come down pretty low and then go, right? So watch for the breakout there. Aussie Swiss. Stay out of this. It has gone quite a lot, so you don't have much trade there now. Aussie Yen, Aussie New Zealand, sorry. We're still looking for that upside. We broke the low here once. We're coming back to the low, but it's an incomplete pattern until you break that up. So it really doesn't matter how much they consolidate here. It really doesn't matter how much. If you were in that buy, I hope you got out. Well, my traders would have moved stop already, got out of it. But we're still expecting, even if they tag that low, expecting this to happen, right? Because you need 1, 2, 3. You need this to complete the pattern before they go. At least very close to the top. Even if they don't break the top, they have to come very close to the top. So there's a good chance we will be getting that upside. On the 1 hour, you can look for that buy if it turns, right? If you get a sell setup here, short term, right? Yes, it should be a break-even trade. You should have kept it. I would have kept it if I was in. My traders were in, they kept it, and turns out a break-even trade. That's good. Wait for that trade. We're not proving any downside movement as yet. Aussie CAD. Okay, this one is going down, completed this one. Could go with this. And we're going down. This is making a lot of those running flats pattern. You can see it. They make one here, they drop, they make another one, they're dropping. So once they break this low, you'll probably not have much more to go. Right, once they break that low, you can expect they're going to about to break. You may get a short-term trade here, and then you're going to expect them to start repeating the upside again. Repeating the upside. Now, this could be a bigger one, or it could just be another flat here and go. Right? They could make another flat in that and go, but they still have to make that. So if they make another flat here and drop, you're going to expect it. If they start to go up here now, you look for that. So short-term trades within the hourly for downside, you don't have to buy until they turn, right? So where you would see the turn, you would see the turn something like that. So if you were in this sell, you got in that flag there for a sell there, I think you would have got enough pips to get out before they turn, right? So the same thing here, if you get a flag here and you sell, when they're going to turn, you're going to get out of the trade. Move your stops and get out of the trade. So you're looking for sells. New Zealand CAD. Stay out of this. It's already at the low. That was a short sell setup. Instead of this, it's already at the low. And you have this move. You have one, 2, 3. It could come a little more, maybe even break the low. You're going to expect that and then go down. Right? You've seen that pattern too often not to recognize it now, right? So if you're going to sell here now, you got to be careful. It could break the low, but you got to be careful. We don't know whether it will be a running flat, an expanding flat, or just a regular flat, right? So you're going to be careful there. New Zealand Swiss. Stay out of this. It has gone too much to the downside. So if you take short-term trades, even they become dangerous, right? When we're this low, when we're that low, you're expecting the correction to start anytime. So if you're going to go and sell setups, if you're trying to catch the last 20 pips to the downside, it becomes dangerous. Wait for a deeper correction. So if you want to trade this to the downside, I want you to let this happen before you go. Right? Now, can they drop? Yeah, but that wouldn't be good sell setup for you. The risk to rewards and trades like those are not good. Cat Swiss, you're getting a flag here. So if they break to the downside, you can sell. You want to see that correction. So if they're going to break to the downside, you can sell. It's not a buy setup as yet. It needs to go with a sharp move or flag, and then you go for the buy setup. Copper, you can sell. I still think the sell is valid. So if you get another flag here, you can sell. They may be just going down very slow. You don't have a buy setup here as yet. Natural gas, they're probably going to tag the low as we expected. Watch them to tag this low. And then we look for that trade out. Pretty much the same thing you had in here. You had that one there, then you get 1, 2, 3, and then you get that move up. This is just a bigger pattern, right? So you're looking for this one and then one up, which means short-term sell. Right? Short-term, you get a pullback or you get a flag or something like that here. Look for this trade. Right? You want them to pull back first, though, because they always pull back. So you get a pullback and then you get a trade. US oil. Daily, let me put this in the daily because I think I showed you this a number of times and we looked at it at what patterns we can be looking for. I think we're making right now, this piece here is making a bigger pattern, right? Just like we made a bigger pattern here, this one. This whole piece is one big pattern, right? Or if you look at this piece only as it, right? If you look at that as part of its own one, 1, 2, 3, that is an impulse. This becomes the bigger pattern, right? So this one will be pretty much the same 1, 2, 3, more like that. 1, 2, 3. Now we're making it 1. We can be making it 2 in here. We can make it 3 there. So if you're going to be looking for trade setups there, you have to know you're in the middle of making the pattern, which means it can go both ways, right? So if you get the flag here, which I think you're likely going to get this week, excuse me, look for that trade down. Now, this is not going to come to the bottom because you remember you're in the middle of this one here. They could come to about this level and go back up, making the P wave in the middle there. So you can go for the sell. There is no buy setup here right now. So you can go for the sell when it makes the flag. One short-term sell. If they come back all the way to the top, well, then you still wait for the sell setup because you don't have a bigger B wave. You don't have a flag setup. You don't have a correction that is a sellable correction. I just have to wait for that. I think we're making a correction right now. And UK oil is doing the same thing, right? They're making corrections. So we're expecting this to come back here. And they're already here making a flag. So if you make that flag, you get this trade down. Very likely test that low before they go back up. Very, very likely. So look for that trade. S&P 500. It's coming down, but it's not the impulse to the downside. I don't think that is the move that will come down. Because the move that will come down, we're expecting it to be very sharp, more like this. This one is coming down very slow. You can see that, right? Which means they'll retest the top once more. There's a good chance they'll retest that top and then you get a big move, right? So while it's coming down, this one is, let's see what it's doing, but I don't think that is the way it's coming down. Doesn't look like the one we would expect. You get short-term sells, take them, right? So you get another short-term sell here, take it, put the break even or take profit, because if they do this again, drop, do this again, drop, up trade. They break here, take the trade, they break there, take the trade, they break there, take the trade. Once it tests the top, take profit. Anywhere you get that breakout that goes, take profit, because it's only one more test of the top. Now, can this suddenly drop? Well, rarely, but it does do that. They go very slow at the start. They make a small leading diagonal at 15 minutes or in a 1 hour, which we don't recognize because it's too clustered. You're not going into those lower time frames to see, and then they drop. Good. You remember what you're looking for? You're looking for sell setups until you come down till about the trend line, right? So until it starts changing. You're getting a flag sell, you're getting a flag sell, move to break even, move to break even. Right? Worst case is you get 5 break even trades. DAX already at the downside, so we're going to expect the upside. This one did not go higher. They just stopped right there. So we're going to expect that upside to come. You can see that this pattern is pretty easy. Right? It's not very complex. Right? See that? They can come and tag the low, but then you're going to get that trade. Now, they may or may not tag the low, because what you're looking for is an impulse, a corrective structure, go back up there, and then come down. Right? This will give you 1, 2, 3, and then up, which means this is a bigger monthly correction. That's the monthly trend line. And then you're going to go back up. So this, you know now that you have one more impulse in the DAX to the upside. That's something you know now, right? That's known factor. You look at this, and you look at this, and you're saying, okay, it's going to be more like that. They're going to go back up there, come back here, and then take off. Now, can this come break the low and then take off? Unlikely. I'm not seeing a contracting flat in the middle there, right? We can see this one here has a flat, but that one doesn't have a flat in the middle. So let's see. We're making correction. You're going to get one more up. That's almost sure. This is not going to break to the downside as yet. So you can take that out. We're still in this bigger weekly trend upside. And you can see that every time they consolidate, they make a move up, consolidate, go up, consolidate, go up, consolidate, go up, consolidate, go up. Right? So we're still in the consolidation. It's going to fall for a while. It's going to stay in that consolidation for a while. First up and then down again. I'll expect this to come back down after that. That should complete a very simple pattern for upside. It gets more complex than that, we'll follow it. We'll see how it is developing. Sorry, not that one. DJI, let's look at this for some of you. Very simple. You're expecting this to start coming back here, at least one more down, right? So this is more like a 1, 2, 3. This is going to make a little up, little up, little up, little up, but then you're going to get that. So you can look for this structure to turn at any point. Not turning as yet. All right, that's not the turn as yet. Very likely this is going to go one more up. Right? But if it comes here, make a flag, then you go for the sell. Right? If they come there, make a flag, then you go for the sell. Let's go. Nifty for those of you who trade it. Okay, so Nifty, we're making a bigger consolidation like this here to go up, or we're turning. So you watch for 1, you watch for 2, you watch for 3, and then you look for downside. You watch for 1, you watch for a flag, you buy to the top, you move to break even, they come back here, you buy. See? So we have two pieces of a puzzle that is more complex, right? So we have two little pieces of a big complex puzzle. Is it a correction for upside, or is it starting the downside? And with that two piece, you can't make the decision. We're still expecting the downside. We're still going to have a move to the downside before they can continue to go up, right? We still need to get one of that before they can continue to go up. So the question is it starting it now? No, we don't know. Right? But you will know. The problem is you don't know as yet. You will know very soon depending on what they do next. Every next move, every next piece builds the structure to confirm either the upside or the downside. Bitcoin, for those of you who are trading it. Very likely they will tag the low, so watch it. So what is the biggest structure? It's still the same. It hasn't changed. Right? Nothing has changed except of how this one is behaving here, right? This little piece coming out. So you do that, you're making it bounce. They can come make another one here and then go, right? It will still go up, right? This is just this piece here making a 3-wave structure. That's okay. You got 1, 2, 3 there. This could make 1, 2, 3 here. It doesn't have to be just one wave and then up. But it's not going to go very low to the downside. They can come a little below this low. That's okay. They can come a little below here, right? But they're not going to go very far because they still need to make this wave up and then go. Right now, it's looking like more to the up. You know, they're going to make that flat from this level. So go to the 1 hour and let's see. If you took that flag, that's a sharp pullback. I thought they would go break the low first, then turn. They didn't break the low. So probably you're going to watch for a bigger correction. I don't think they're turning to the upside. I don't think this is actually the one going up, right? This is an impulse to the downside. We'd like them to break that low. So you're probably going to see a correction here and then they drop. Just a smaller flag in here before they drop, break the low and then turn. So you can look for short-term sells here a little if you want to and then wait for the buy. Same you're going to have on XRP. XRP, the short-term sell might not come because you already had a short-term sell. This is your impulse. You got one, you got a B wave, you make a C wave, you can look for buy setup here. If you take this once it comes here, put that to break even. Put it to break even because from there, they might get one more down. Not expecting them to break that low, right? Expecting them to go up first. Even if they're going to come down, they have to go up first. But on the bigger picture, I think that could be the upside. You know, this one is easier to trade than Bitcoin. And here's the deal. This is like silver, right? The lowest it could go to is 0. That's it. It could be a 0. Let's say the value is going to just totally collapse. 0. So you're risking 30 cents. Right? 30 cents is what you're risking in every trade you put on every single trade, right? It could drop 30 cents and you lost the 30 cents. So 30 cents multiplied by however much value you want to put on, how much 30 cents you can lose, right? But you're expecting this to come back pretty high. And I wouldn't be surprised if this comes back really, really high, because this is just starting. This is only your first impulse up. This is your move down. So this could come back all the way here before they come back down again. This could be the next big surprise that comes. This one could be. This one doesn't have to make that flat like Bitcoin is making. So the up move on Bitcoin could see this breaking that top. You can hit $4 with that, maybe $6, right? And you're risking 30 cents only. So you've got to buy it without stops and calculate your risk that if it goes to zero, well, that's it. You lost all the money you invested in it, right? And you can invest without probably using leverage, 30 cents. You don't need leverage to invest in that, right? I don't know if they give you leverage. I don't trade Bitcoin. I don't trade cryptocurrency, so I don't know if you're using leverage to buy it or not. But you can buy it without leverage. Right? I don't trade cryptocurrencies. I'm not allowed to trade cryptocurrencies because I'm trading for investors, and that wasn't the agreement I have with them, right? My account doesn't have cryptocurrencies in it. But the risk is, how much money can you afford to lose? Can you afford to lose $3,000? Well, buy $3,000 cash in crypto. And if you lose it, you lose it. If it goes to zero, you lose it. So 5,000, well, that's it. You're risking $5,000 of your money that you will totally lose. Just 5,000. You don't have to take, you see, if you don't take leverage from the bank, then you don't owe them anything, right? So you can go bankrupt. You can, you can't lose more than the 5,000 you risk. So you can just buy liquid, use 5,000 1-to-1 ratio. You don't have to take any, money from the bank. You're not using leverage, no leverage, 1-to-1 leverage, and that's it. And if it goes, you increase your 5,000 from 30 cents to $4, multiply. How much percent you got there? That's your increase. And that's the risk. You know your risk. How much can you afford to? See? So if I would have allowed to do this, I'd probably invest about 50,000 in it and leave it. I can afford to lose 50,000. Right? So if there's any way I think it's worth the investment, put 50,000. If you lose it, you lose it. That's it. Let's see what happens there. It's not going to kill you, right? You put the amount that wouldn't kill you, that wouldn't hurt you. I literally mean that wouldn't hurt you. You would not regret it, because then if you put enough, if 50,000 was going to hurt me, then I would not put it, right? If your limit is 5,000, then put 5,000. If it's 1,000, put 1,000. But if you lost it, you just look at it and smile. Well, it didn't work out. That's it. You should be able to look at it. Bad investment, didn't work. You're going to make a lot of that in your lifetime if you want to be a trader. I've made a lot of those. You will make a lot of them. So you have to this is trading, right? You're weighing your risk to the rewards you can get. And even if this doesn't go to that top, even if it comes 50% of this, $2, you are still going to make a lot of money. So technically, you can either look at it, sometimes you just need logic. You don't need a lot of technical tricks. Technically, we have a buy set up here. From this point, we got this at least one more up here. That's where you got to about 40 cents, right? So at least a 1-to-1 risk from 28 cents you're buying. You got a 1-to-1 risk at least, 1 to 2 probably, right? So 1-to-1 risk is like your worst case could happen here. It doesn't go to $4, it goes to 40 cents. Okay, great. You got 100% in your investment. You invest 5,000, you get 10,000. See? So this, if you buy Bitcoin, you don't have enough money to invest in Bitcoin. This is the one you want to go with, right? So this looks very good. Even if this goes a little lower, well, it goes to 18 cents. You just have to wait. You just have to wait it out. It will come back to 20 cents. From 18 to 28, it will come back. So the worst case is you get back your money. When it's at the bottom, you got to buy. I think I showed this the last time. I want to stress on this because I said that the same thing the last time. People were not paying attention. We looked at this trade the last time. I told you to buy in here, right? Those of you who were paying attention to me, I said buy into this. Buy anywhere in here, right? Remember, this was this. I think this came from somewhere like that. And I said buy anywhere in here. It doesn't matter what price. 16 was the price you were buying. 16 was the price. 15, 16 was what I give people. Because it was at the bottom here. At the bottom of this one. I think somewhere in here, when I said you can start buying, it's at 15, 16, you can't go wrong. Well, you're unlikely going to see this price again. It's not going to happen. This is where you're going to see. I don't think they're going to break that low. So this is your next turning point. These are easy no-brainers. These are not, these are not complicated things. These are very, very easy no-brainers. So go, decide, gonna drop some more. Better for you. You even buy a little lower than that, right? So keep focused on those trades, right? If it collapses, well, you lost the $1,000. What was the big deal? Just put enough that you can afford to lose. Don't put more than you can afford to lose. That's it. If you're using leverage, make sure that the leverage that when it drops from there to there, it's 1,000, right? So if it drops from 30 to 0, you lost 1,000 on your leverage. That's it. Use enough leverage so that make sure you're only losing $1,000 or whatever you can afford to lose, right? That's it. So I think with that, we can finish the webinar, because that's a good tone to finish the webinar. Somewhere where you have a very good trade. So there are two good trade setups that I see. This one and silver. Right? Those two are the good trade setups that I can tell you may want to focus on. I'm focused on silver because I can trade silver. You can focus on this one because you trade this. It doesn't matter where you put the risk. You're looking at the least risky trades to go with. Right? Somebody's asking me for rubles every time, and they're getting a little annoying when they do it. I'll just do it for that person. Since you asked for that one, I'll just do rubles, but we can't do all of them because it's going to be a very long webinar, right? Rubles is still going up, and it's probably still going to continue to go up. It looks like this might be the bigger turn here now. It looks like this move here down is finished, and this one is going to actually come to test this top again. So you might see rubles back at 8.8 or something. Don't be surprised. Right? We can see it, but it's going to go down after that, right? So you can buy until you get to that level, and then you can watch for the downside after. It looks like you're heading for the top there. If yen goes up, ruble will follow. It's a dollar movement we're thinking about, right? So all of you, thank you for coming. Have a wonderful weekend. And remember, we have a course starting on Monday, so it's late to join now unless you can pay by PayPal. That's the only time you can join. After that, the next course, I have no idea. It could be until in December, maybe or in January, right? So why you would want to learn this stuff if you're in our course, if you want to take the course, because you're with a group of wonderful people. It's not only the classes that I teach you, it's the continuation of what you get after that. You get practical training, you get Q&As, you get daily webinars. You're in a group, you're trading with a group of wonderful traders, very good traders, excellent traders. Just to pay to be in that group is worth it. Forget about everything else. Just to be in that group is worth it, right? So make your mind up. I'll see all of you. Have a wonderful weekend. And I'll see all of you guys. Take care. See my traders on Monday. See all of you next week. Have a wonderful time. Thank you. Bye-bye.